the dollar will collapse.
Whereupon there'll be a lot of jawboning by the president, and that won't work. Then they'll go to selling gold, and that won't work either. Then they'll have to go to capital controls, freeze foreign assets, stop any money from going in or out, and that will be the end of all the markets. That'll really be the finish. Then you'll see a worldwide depression that'll make the 1930s look like a kindergarten. In 2 months, you'll have bread lines in Detroit, riots in Pittsburgh. In 6 months, you'll see grouse right over Rodeo Drive, and Michigan Boulevard, and Fifth Avenue, and I won't have done it, Hub. You will. All because you tried to stop a movement that couldn't be stopped anyway. Listen to me, Hub. Money, capital, has a life of its own. It's a force of nature, like gravity, like the oceans. It flows where it wants to flow. This whole thing with the Arabs and gold is inevitable. We're just going with the tide. The only question is whether you want to let it go like an unguided missile and raise hell, or whether you want to keep it in the hands of responsible people. Believe me, Hub, the dollar will hold. Believe me. The system will be fine, providing nobody panics.
So the scene starts off with a trading room in a major New York bank. And the main trader screams out and says, everybody hang up the phone and listen very carefully. And the scenario goes like this. Listen, everybody. The Arabs yanked all of their money out of our bank, and it's not just us, it's across the board.
That means every bank in the country out there is going to be struggling for liquidity, trying to cover those cash withdrawals. We're dumping everything. Treasury bills, bonds, Fannie Mae's, commercial papers, we want it all sold. Fed funds, euro dollars, borrow whatever you can find up to 200 million. Foreign exchange, no positions. Bullion, grab what you can get. All right, let's hit it. And pray.
And then pandemonium takes place, and all these trades start going off, and it's just crazy in the trading room. And of course, you got to realize that this same scenario is taking place all throughout New York City, the financial capital of the world, and of course London and Zurich and everywhere else. And everybody's selling everything they can to put it into dollars so that they can pay back the Arabs what they owe them, right? Well, as this is unfolding, one of the traders comes up to the desk and starts explaining.
Stock market's off 75 points. The dollar's appreciated 10% and moving down. They even yanked the euro dollar deposits that weren't due. Of course, New York is practically down the tubes, and gold just went over 2,000.
By tonight, that'll be cheap.
And he turns around and he picks up the phone and he calls his wife.
I want you to listen, and listen very carefully. As soon as you hang up, I want you to go to the closet, take a suitcase, and get to the bank.
And then it cuts, and it shows a scene outside of a bank in Manhattan. And the banker is taking bundles of dollar bills and throwing them outside the bank. And there's people scrambling and screaming all over. And then it cuts again, and it shows a newscaster. And he says, this scene outside of Manhattan Bank took place all over the world.
Last night, demonstrators burned American currency in front of the White House, and attempts to put out the fires led to a confrontation with police. Every hour, from every corner of the globe, there are new reports of outraged crowds demanding action. A bankrupt world seems to be teetering on the very edge of anarchy.
And then that's basically the end of the scene. But the point is that something like that could happen inadvertently. It doesn't take all of the money coming out of the bank. In fact, in today's market being so topsy-turvy and so skittish, you might see a major withdrawal of maybe 1% of a fund somewhere that has a compounding effect, especially in an over-leveraged market, which we've been in for so long. And I think the best way to wrap this up is the derivatives market. When you've got one bank in the United States that basically has a derivative exposure that's in the trillions of dollars, I mean, it basically is so vulnerable to something like this taking place that most people don't even, one, realize that it exists, or two, what the implications are. But Warren Buffett, arguably one of the best investors in modern times, has said that it's financial mass destruction. That's what these derivatives represent, and I believe he's correct.
Bullion, grab what you can get.